Okay, let's get back over here. With Safata Nevire, just to review a little bit, because it's complicated. Third wide line, towards the end of the third wide line. Page 304. Fa'atu Nevire asif keseder, b'chol prat b'fnei atzmo. Ben ir she'orlach l'krach. A person lives in an open city, and he left to go to a walled city, which is the 15th. When he left his community, he had in mind, let's say he left on the 10th of Adar, and he had in mind when he left to return on the 14th, to be back in his community on the 14th. Rotz Lomar, no, he says different. Bizman Kriya Shel Tezvov. Dahainu Mishahir Hayom Lo Yesham Ki Yazim Mishom Kodim Or Hayom. Meaning he had in mind he's not going to be in the walled city on the 15th in the morning. That's what he had in mind. Then after he arrives, he's out of his location, he's in Yerushalayim, and he realizes that he has to stay there the 15th in the morning. But when he left his community, he had in mind to be back on the 14th, before the 15th morning in Yerushalayim. He reads the Megillah in Yerushalayim on the 14th, at night and in the morning. When he left his town, Tel Aviv, he had in mind not to be in Yerushalayim the 15th in the morning. He had already realized on the 12th, that he has to be in Yerushalayim on the 15th in the morning. Okay? He reads the Megillah on the 14th of Adar, the night and the morning. Korab Yom Yidal B'Yosef B'Krach. Avlim Beis Mesios Lo Yoyi B'Dait Yilasu Min Akrach. La'achaz Man Akriyo. Dahainu Bokshe Tezvov. What happened when he left Tel Aviv? He had in mind to stay in Yerushalayim through the morning of the 15th. He left on the 10th from Tel Aviv. He had in mind that he's going to be in Yerushalayim on the 15th in the morning in Yerushalayim. Okay? Shoskvar Huzman Akriyo, which already, it's a time of, that's the primary reading, is the day reading. Oschalav Shemuka V'Korimon B'Yom Tezvov. Then he reads it on the 15th. You this? What happens if he had to leave Yerushalayim before the 15th even happened? Yeah? He left Tel Aviv to be in Yerushalayim, to be there through the 15th in the morning. And then afterwards, he had to leave Yerushalayim. And he wasn't there. Oschalav Shemuka V'Korimon B'Yom Tezvov. Afil Marka Choz Liro B'Yom Tezvov. Korishom Im Lo Kora B'Tchila B'Krach. And he left Yerushalayim before the 15th in the morning. Before the 15th in the morning. And now he's back in Tel Aviv the 15th in the morning. He reads the Megillah on the 15th in the morning in Tel Aviv. Vatin Varasif, Linin Ofen Sheni. Another applicant. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say. Wait. So far he said, person leaves Tel Aviv to be in Yerushalayim, but he's not going to be on the 15th in the morning. And then he decides to stay. He reads on the 14th in Yerushalayim. Because when he left Tel Aviv, he had in mind not to be there in the morning of the 15th. So he's classified as a 14th person. If he came originally to stay on the 15th in the morning in Yerushalayim, and he seems to be, he read the Megillah at the 15th in Yerushalayim, but he left before the 15th in the morning. Went back to Tel Aviv, he'll read in Tel Aviv the 15th in the morning. Seems to be, but if he left before the 14th, let's say he was back the 14th at the night of the 14th in Tel Aviv, then he's reinstated. No, he's reinstated because he was in the right. Right. Behind Ben Krach. Ben Krach Sholach Le'ir. What about a person living in Yerushalayim and he went to a Yerushalayim Jew went to Tel Aviv? Right? The other direction. He went to Tel Aviv, he had in mind he's going to leave Tel Aviv before dawn. He's not going to be in Tel Aviv the 14th in the morning. That was his mind. He left Yerushalayim and he's going to leave Tel Aviv before the 14th in the morning, before dawn. Duzman Kriya, which is the primary reading for a person outside of a walled city, Abshel of Sofa in the Sakiv, even though factually he remained beyond the 14th into the day, Korob Kimkom Daib Tezvov, even though he's in Tel Aviv on the 14th in the morning, he does not read the Megillah. Doesn't go to shul for Megillah. He's going to be back in Yerushalayim on the 15th. What are you talking about? We're saying now, if he had in mind to remain in Tel Aviv on the 14th, he would read it on the 14th, even if he has in mind to be back the 15th. You understand? What do you mean citizen? You're a citizen of whatever it is. Of Mozambique. Okay? Because you don't hear the principle. It's not like, like 2 days Yom Tov, 1 day Yom Tov. It's a whole different principle. Right? It's identifying with a location. Wherever you are, you identify with that location. That's when you have to do the Persumim Nisa. Now, when do you identify with a location? That's what we're discussing over here. So we're saying that if you left your community and you did not establish yourself as that community, then you're still part of your community. Now, what's established as the new community? If you plan to be there on Purim in the morning, right? If you plan to be in that location on Purim in the morning. So let's talk. Person Yerushalayim, and he's in Tel Aviv on the 14th night and the 14th in the morning. Plans to be both. And he is both. When does he read? He reads on both, the 14th night and the 14th day. He's reading the Megillah on the 14th, even though he lives in Yerushalayim. Okay, 1 second. He originally had in mind he was going to return before dawn. On the 14th. That means he was not going to be in Tel Aviv on the 14th, which is the primary reading. Okay? Then, for whatever, he was delayed, waylaid there, and he was there the 14th in the morning. Does he have to go to shul on the 14th in Tel Aviv to listen to Kriyas Megillah? The answer is no. Because when he left Yerushalayim, his mind was to be back in Yerushalayim the 14th in the morning. Okay? Koro Kimakomo Dani Biyom Tesvav. Well, 1 second. Let's get all the cases. Avim lo bedato beis nesios alas misham rak la'achaz man akriyo to yom yudal baboker. He left Yerushalayim to be in Tel Aviv the night and in the morning. Okay, that's originally. Chovas hakriyo sheloir. The obligation is the application of the location that he reads it on the 14th. Zeh she'omar machab kori imad she'amoka b'sherushom. Even though that day, the 14th during the afternoon, or before sundown, he was back in Yerushalayim. Tzorach likro bosayom yudalid. Do nikra poros ben yomo. He's considered a poros, a member of that open city, not the walled city. Now, he doesn't have to be back at all. We're saying even if he's back, what? But once you enter into the time zone of the primary reading of the 14th, then you identify it as a 14th person. Correct. On the 14th, you're going to be the 14th and the 15th, both. Still, you read it on the 14th. Yeah, he left Yerushalayim to be in the 14th during the night and during the daytime. No, to be in the 14th in Tel Aviv. And 14th, in the afternoon, he was going to be back to Yerushalayim. He still reads it on the 14th. Because he had in mind to be in the location where the obligation to read the Megillah was the 14th. If you're in the location where the primary reading is on whatever that is your day. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. We're saying here he planned to be back. What's it called? Plan to be back in the 14th in the afternoon or late morning. In Yerushalayim still reads it on the 14th. No, because you were in a location where they were doing the Persumim Nisa on the 14th. That's not the primary reading. If what? If he planned to be there? He reads it on the night and the day. Of course. Of course. He's in Yerushalayim. He's in Tel Aviv ready tonight. He's in Tel Aviv the 14th night. there's no problem. Then he doesn't read it at night. No. He was talking about he planned to be Yerushalayim at night and during the daytime. In Tel Aviv. Night and during the daytime. No. No. That we said clearly. You have to be in the location during the primary reading time. What's the primary reading time? The daytime. Daytime is the primary reading time. Means nothing. Kosovataz. One second. No, not the intent. When you left your community, right? You left your community to be somewhere else. No, to be in that location during a certain period of time. So if the intent was only nighttime, and you waylaid there, then you don't identify with that location. But if your intent was to be there, then I do identify with that location. That's what we're saying. So you want to read it? It's like you're a Tel Aviv Jew. You're ready. No, you have no reason. You're ready. You're like this year you were a Tel Aviv Jew. You weren't a Yerushalayim Jew. No, that anyway. We'll see. Chozeh dafkim ho yishom b'ir b'tchilas hayom. Av chozeh m'komo shukrach kodem hayom. Right? So that there's only if he was there during the daytime. But let's say he returned before dawn. Shukrach, right? And he returned to the walled city kodem hayom. Lo mo ma shechosh b'tchilo los bir beis hakriyos eir. Did it make a difference? Doesn't make a difference. What about he had in mind to be in Tel Aviv night and day? And that we're not discussing. And then afterwards, he left Tel Aviv before dawn and was back to Yerushalayim. He was a Yerushalayim Jew, walled city Jew. He had in mind to be in Tel Aviv night and day. And then he checked out before dawn. He's back to Yerushalayim by because that cancels the intent. Because factually he's a Yerushalayim Jew. Doesn't contradict it. The primary chiyuv is daytime. If you're there, then you're locked in. But you need two things. It's not enough to be there, but initially you had in mind to be there. But let's say you had in mind to be there and you weren't there. Because you returned to Yerushalayim before dawn. Then you weren't there during the primary time. The daytime. No, that's not the case we're talking about now. No. If he had in mind to be in Tel Aviv, the 14th night, any part during the daytime, he reads it on the 14th. Even though he came to Yerushalayim afterwards. Reads. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. The case is he had in mind to be in Tel Aviv night and part of the daytime. He reads night, daytime. He doesn't read it on the 15th. He checks out before dawn. That's what we're speaking about now. That was in the first case. So then he doesn't read it. Then he doesn't read it. No, he doesn't read Yerushalayim on the 14th. Doesn't read on the 14th. Because he was never in Tel Aviv during the primary reading time. That canceled the intention. You need intention plus being there. If you're not there, intention means nothing. Okay, that's what we're saying. It's complicated because in Eretz Yisrael it's not uncommon. Persons, let's say, is a Yerushalmi Jew, and they have a business meeting, Tel Aviv, on the 14th, right? And he has a late meeting. It runs into the night. Goes to Ma'ariv. Does he have to listen to Megillah? So as long as he plans that after Ma'ariv to drive back to Yerushalayim, he doesn't have to read Megillah. But what happens? He has the meeting. He has an early meeting, the 14th in Tel Aviv, right? And he knows he has, and it's planned. An early meeting. Then he's going back. That year, his reading of Megillah is the 14th. Because initially he went for the meeting at night and to be at a meeting in the morning. It's irrelevant whether you catch. He's an onus. He's an onus. Doesn't make a difference. He has an obligation to get back. Well, when did he? I don't understand. Did he plan to be in Tel Aviv for that meeting in the 14th in the morning? He originally planned. He went to Tel Aviv. He had a meeting at night, early meeting in the morning, the 14th. Plans after the meeting, he's going back to Yerushalayim. When does he read the Megillah? No, he's in Tel Aviv the 14th after the meeting. So he's in davening Shachris. He's davening Shachris in Tel Aviv. He has to read the Megillah at night and during the daytime. In Tel Aviv. He doesn't even have to change his mind. As long as he checks out before dawn. Right. So even though he heard the reading at night. Right? Doesn't make a difference. He has to hear a reading again the 15th. The 15th night. The first one didn't. Okay? He has to make a note, say another bracha. He wasn't. When is he checking out? Nothing. Doesn't have to increase Megillah the 14th night. Nothing, because he's not going to be in Tel Aviv during the primary reading. Daytime is the primary reading. But let's say he plans to be in Tel Aviv, because he has to be there for this early morning meeting. Okay, so that means initially he intended to be there, and he is there. Then he reads the Megillah on the 14th in Tel Aviv. Right. Let's say, but what the Taz is saying, what happens, something comes up, they say, we're canceling tomorrow morning. He originally had in mind to be there. It never happened, and he was able to get back at nighttime, before dawn. Then he reads the Megillah on the 15th, at night and during the day. And the reading that he read the previous night had no value. That doesn't count. Right, correct. But for that you need intent. Because if he's waylaid, let's say initially when he left Yerushalayim, the meeting was only scheduled at night. And at nighttime when he was there, they had in mind, they said, we need another meeting in the morning. Then he will not read, he has no obligation to read in the morning, because his intent was never to be there in the morning on the 14th when he left Yerushalayim. Then he's going to read the Megillah on the 15th. It's only where initially, doesn't make a difference, because initially when he left Yerushalayim, he never intended to be there the 14th in the morning. It's something which came up afterwards. So he reads it. So he said that earlier. No, he'll read on the 15th in Yerushalayim, in Tel Aviv. He'll read it on the 15th in Tel Aviv. Okay, let's see the Chovos HaLevavos.